Alright, this is C++ chess, basically. It's a very long code because, wait, it's easier when you can see the workspace on the side. You have a whole bunch of functions that move each piece in the chess, but the chessboard itself is just an array, and the pieces are just characters.
Okay.
Therefore, all the positions are recorded, and really moving characters from place to place in the array is actually rather simple. It only takes 2 lines of code. But the reason it's so long is because all of the pieces can only move in certain ways.
Okay.
And there's a whole bunch of exceptions, like you can't move to where your piece already is. So it requires...
Where are your preprocessor directives? I don't see them.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, okay. Now, why did you pick, obviously IOStream standard, why did you pick conio.h?
Conio.h. I chose to use getch as the cin because this is just a two-player mechanical chessboard.
Right.
Really.
Right.
Because an artificial intelligence for chess would be extremely difficult to create. I don't know chess strategy that well myself, so I wouldn't be the person to make that. So we start off with the main function, which I always put first.
Okay.
And it first asks you whether you want to be white or black, and white is the basically uppercase letters and black is lowercase letters, so you can distinguish between the two.
Okay.
And the program does keep track of whose turn it is.
Okay.
Using a variable turn which at the end of the primary function play game will always increment between 1 and 0.
Go to the function play game and show us where it does that.
Yes. Okay. That's right at the end play game, right here.
Okay.
I'm referencing Faraz in that comment because he's the one who made it. I got it from him.
Okay, so he helped you with that formula there.
Yes, I got it from a program that he made, and I think he presented earlier in the year.
Okay, now explain that line.
What the turn equals the turn mod to 2 plus 1 mod to 2. What that basically does is if it's 1, and then it gets the remainder mod to 2 plus 1 mod to 2, and it makes it 0. And if it's 0, it ends up being 1.
Okay, so it toggles back and forth.
Yes.
Okay.
And tick check is basically a variable I have, so because basically deselecting a piece. Because first you select a piece and then you select the coordinate of where to go to.
Right.
If you select the piece and then the coordinates of that piece again, I just made it so that deselects the piece, so you could choose another one if you decide to.
I see. Okay. Very logical way of doing it. Very good.
Here's these long statements here decide which piece it's moving it just basically checks which space in the array you've chosen, and then moves you to that function.
So you have nested if statements here.
Yes.
Okay.
I have many of those in this program. That's what makes it so long. It has to have a whole bunch of conditionals. So, first thing it asks you whether it's white or black, and there's the board. Now it always has player 1's turn first. That's the person on the bottom. So, you choose a piece, for instance D2. That's the pawn. Where do you want to move the pawn to? Makes it more specific, and you can move it twice in the first turn or not. And then it clears the board. Whatever was before is deleted. So it's system CLS.
Okay.
And then it's player 2's turn. But if you pick a player 1's piece, such as F2, which is what a player 1 piece, then it'll say there's no piece of yours to move. Therefore, keeping the turns.
Oh, okay, great. Now, would you consider, Schuyler, would you consider this program ready to be utilized by, say, a student who's a novice at chess, who would like to just learn, some of the simple beginning moves? Would you utilize that for that purpose? What is how would you use this program?
This program is basically just a two-player chessboard that can be used here on the computer.
Okay, so
I mean, if someone who is a novice wanted to use this, it would basically only let them do moves that can be done. The only thing this does not have, which I've tried to work on, but it hasn't been working, is a system for checking whether the king is in check or whether it's in checkmate. Because that's very difficult, because not only does the king have to be in danger of a piece who has specific movements, but all the places where it can move have to be in danger, and a piece of the king's can't be able to block the movement of the thing that's endangering the king.
Right.
So that's a very advanced concept, very difficult to code.
Let's see the rest of the code. Explain to us any other really critical parts of your code.
Yes. Well, here's make board. It basically it makes the board. It's just a series of.
Yeah, you're just assigning elements in
assigning the original elements.
Two-dimensional array of value.
Mm-hmm. That's basically it. Display board is a very short function that displays the chessboard interface. So it would look like this. So it has defined spaces. It has 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in the ABCs, so you could get a proper coordinates.
Okay. What about
the movement of each piece?
Yeah, that seems like it would be
the longest part of my code.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. This is the loop, the little get-ch loop that right here, that seeins the coordinate of where you want to go to, and next come the conditional statements that decide whether it is a proper move or not.
Okay.
That starts with this very long conditional right here, which if I go this way, it'll keep going and going. That's why I call it the big if. That's just one thing that checks for if one of your own pieces is where you want to move. That's the original one. And then within that, they're all nested. You have this was for the queen. So true new row is equal to row, and true new col is equal to column. Basically means row and column are the x and y coordinate of where it currently is. True new row and true new col are the variables that represent the x and y coordinate of where you chose to make it go. So if these first two parts of the conditional basically say if it's in line with the column or in line with the row, like a rook moves, which the queen can do, or which plenty of ors, if this is the slope formula, and it has to equal 1 or -1, move diagonally.
Okay.
And within that, you have another one have another if statement where if it's only going straight. And within that, you have a loop that checks if there's any piece in the way of where you want it to move and where you've moved it from. And then that gets me to these two lines. Those two lines basically say that the new place where you want it to go has where it was already. Basically moving the piece. These are the only two lines of code you need to actually move the piece from one place to the other in the array. and taking the enemy's pieces is just as easy because those two lines will make the coordinate where you want to go equal the piece you chose, no matter what was in it.
Right. Okay.
Unless it's one of your own pieces, which is, and that's basically it. It's I forgot to delete this. I did that so I could keep track of an error that was occurring.
Okay, that you bring up a good point. When it comes to code this intricate, folks, you want to insert in critical areas, especially when there's output or changes in players, all that. You want to enter certain lines of code that you can quickly comment out in order to determine whether or not the code is failing at that point.
Yes,
remember, just because it's compiling doesn't mean you're going to get the results you want.
Yes, it may. Even though it gets no errors and no warnings, it has crashed, and I had to make small changes.
Right. Now, what was that line of code that you introduced in order to troubleshoot?
Just a cout statement.
Oh, okay.
I put cout statements before, at the beginning and at the end of a block of code. If both the beginning and the end, that means the error is not in that block of code, of course.
Right.
But if it's not seeing out the end, then that means it's not getting to there for some reason.
Okay.
And you can do that within if statements to try and narrow down what's happening and figure it out.
Okay.
So every one of these nested if statements in each of these functions are different depending on the piece, because every piece has different rules as to how it can move.
Right.
What else? This is the function I tried to make the checks for check if the king is in check, but it's not working properly, and I'm not sure why. So I'm still trying to figure that out. This basically works by making loops to check if the king's coordinate space is surrounded in any way by a queen in any straight or diagonal direction uninterrupted, or a rook just in straight, or a bishop just in diagonal, or if a king is in range to attack it. But it's not functioning properly, so I'm still working on it, on seeing what's wrong with my logic.
You know what would be interesting is, I have a student in my Java class, Felipe Ringo, and what would be interesting, he actually created a program in Java that actually is sort of like a tutorial, and it explains visually the 25 most popular beginning moves in chess. Moves that apparently could guarantee a win if you do the moves properly. It'd be interesting if somehow both of these modules were combined to create a super chess program where you could play chess, but at the same time
You could learn how its theory behind it.
And learn right what the most popular beginning moves are. Interesting. Outstanding presentation, Schuyler. Outstanding. Looks like you have a depth of knowledge, not only when it comes to the structures in C++ that I wanted you to incorporate in your program, but also a depth of knowledge of chess. That's very admirable. Does anyone have any questions or comments about this code? Questions? No. Okay. Excellent job, guys. Excellent.
Thank you.